Hi guys, I'm Ross from Seconds Out Fight Store in Edinburgh. Today we're going to be giving you a beginner's guide to buying boxing gloves. So maybe you're about to go along to the gym for the first time, or you've been to a couple of classes already. If there's one universal truth in every single boxing gym all over the world, is that the gloves they have there in the gym absolutely stink and you have to scrub your hands clean after the class. So most people fairly quickly will decide to get their own pair of gloves, but if you've just started, the chances are you've never had to look at boxing gloves before and you may not know where to start. So we're going to give you 5 top tips on buying your first pair of boxing gloves. Now before we go into our top tips, the first thing you'll notice about buying boxing gloves is that they don't come in sizes small, medium and large. They'll come in weight, usually in 10 to 16 ounce. And this can sometimes throw people off, but we're going to cover off exactly what sizes to go for later on in this video. Tip number 1, where to buy your boxing gloves. So as you'll probably know, most department chain stores will sell a small range of boxing gloves. In the UK we have places like Sports Direct and Argos, and then you've also got massive chains like Amazon. Speaking from my own research, in the UK, Sports Direct and Argos, they'll sell a bit of everything, and the boxing stuff that they sell is often, well, it's always actually really poor quality. If there's one top tip I would give you, is definitely don't buy your boxing gloves from a massive department chain like that. Make sure you're going to a specific combat sports equipment store where that's what they specialise in. Now, as good as it would be to have every single person in the world buy their boxing gloves from Seconds Out, I'm not expecting that to happen. So what I would say is just to do your research on where you're buying your gloves from. Have a wee look at their Google reviews and their Facebook reviews. If you see that they're a shop that have got maybe 1, 2 or 3 stars, then the chances are they're either not selling good quality equipment or the service isn't very good. Have a wee hunt about, make sure you find a combat sports store that just sells that sort of thing and that has good quality star reviews. That way you're giving yourself a much better chance of getting good quality gloves at a fair price with top service. Tip number 2, choosing the right brand. When you start looking at boxing gloves, you'll notice a mixture of mainstream brands that you'll see in the high street and also some specific brands for combat sports. Now often top brands like Adidas, Everlast, Lonsdale, they'll make some really good equipment that we'll stock in the shop ourselves, but they also make some terrible stuff as well, and that's generally what you'll find in places like Sports Direct or Argos. You definitely want to make sure you're picking the right brand, going for a good quality pair of boxing gloves, but don't get drawn in by the brand itself. Just because it has an Adidas logo on it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good quality. Have a wee look at the top brands within your discipline, whether it's boxing, MMA or Thai boxing. Look at the top brands in that and you can't go far wrong from there. Tip number 3, working within your budget. So you can buy a pair of boxing gloves from £10 all the way up to £600. For beginners, I always recommend spending at least £30. I'm yet to find a good pair of boxing gloves for under that price. Doesn't mean they don't exist, but in my experience, I'm yet to find it. £30 is definitely a good amount to spend that will get you a good quality pair of gloves without breaking the bank. If you can spend a little more, you'll definitely get good value for money. My recommendations when people come into the shop are, if you're training anything from 1 to 3 times per week, about £30 to £60, and that'll get you a really good quality pair of artificial leather gloves. If you're going to be training from 3 times upwards, then you want to invest in a good pair of leather gloves. That way, in the long run, you're going to be getting the best value for money. If you do spend about £30 to £40, but you're going to be training every night, the gloves are just not going to last as long, and you'll spend more in the long run replacing those gloves over and over, as opposed to buying a good solid pair of gloves that'll last you a good few years in the very beginning. Whatever your budget is that you're looking at, I generally recommend to go to the top end of that budget, not just so we drag more money out our customers, but generally if you can spend £30 to £60, a £60 glove is going to be a far better quality glove than a £30 glove. But I get that everyone's not looking to spend that kind of money. As a general recommendation, you don't have to go up to £200, but if you go to near the top end of the budget, you will get more for your money. Tip number 4, styles of boxing gloves. When you're doing your research, you'll probably notice 3 different types of gloves: bag gloves, boxing gloves and sparring gloves. So sparring gloves are generally in 12 ounce to 16 ounce. A boxing glove can be in pretty much any size, and a bag glove, it can seem like it's going to be the best option for you, but it's probably going to be the worst. Because it says bag glove, it's very easy to get drawn in and think that's going to be the best option for hitting the bags and the pads. But a bag glove is more for experienced people who've been training a long time and are looking to condition their knuckles or perfect their punching technique. I'll show you exactly what I mean by a set of bag gloves. You'll know the difference straight away as soon as you look at both gloves. In my right hand, I've got a standard boxing glove. This one's from Ringside. And in my left hand, I've got a bag glove from Sandy. Now, these bag gloves are excellent quality. We sell them in the shop, but you can see the difference in size of them straight away. The bag glove has got way less padding in it. If I put my hand into the glove, you can see generally the thumb isn't attached, which is an absolute nightmare for beginners. It's just one more injury that can go wrong. The padding is a lot more minimal. I can really feel my knuckles through that glove. Again, when you're starting out, you want something that's going to protect your hands a lot more. The wrist support isn't as secure as it would be in a standard pair of boxing gloves. If I take that off and put on the Ringside boxing glove, as soon as I put my hand in, there is just way more padding in this glove. It's got so much more protection. My hand feels a lot secure. The thumb is attached to the glove, so it's going to help protect you there. You're not going to get any thumb injuries, and the wrist support is just far superior. So when you're looking at your first pair of gloves, you definitely want to be going for a pair of boxing gloves, not a pair of bag gloves. You also see on these both of these gloves that they're Velcro. You can get lace-up gloves as well. Again, these are generally for people that are more experienced. Lace-ups are something that does give you more support, but it generally comes into play when you've been training for a long time and you're punching a lot harder. Velcro boxing gloves are definitely the way to go over lace-ups or bag gloves. Tip number 5, sizes of boxing gloves. As you can see from these two gloves here, there can be a massive difference in sizes of gloves. As a beginner, you'll probably want to go for something that's about 10 to 16 ounce, depending on if you're male or female, if you've got large or small hands, and if you're going to be doing bag and pad work or just sparring. So this is my general guide for sizing up your boxing gloves. If you're a female and you're just starting out looking to hit the bag or pads, then I would say anything from 8, 10 or 12 ounce will be your best bet. If you've got very small hands, then 8 ounce will be a good option for you, maybe 10 ounce. In the 8 ounce, you'll probably get away with a set of kids gloves actually, but I would probably recommend the 10 ounce one more. That'll give you much more protection and a better fit, unless you do have very small hands. If you're a female and you've got slightly larger hands, then the 12 ounce ones could be a good shout, but generally a 10 ounce glove you can't go wrong with. For guys, definitely a 10 or a 12 ounce will be your best bet. If you've got bigger hands, then you might want to look at a 14 ounce or a 16 ounce, but generally 10 and 12 ounce for guys' hands are your best bet. For myself, I'm about 75 kilograms and about 5'10", and I use 10 ounce bag gloves myself, boxing gloves, sorry, for hitting the bag, but a lot of people I know about the same sort of build and size use 12 ounce. It's just personal preference on how much protection you're looking for. When it comes into sparring, then the rules change a wee bit more. A lot of gyms you'll go into, pretty much every gym actually will have their own requirements for sparring. So some gyms will let you spar in 14s, some will insist categorically nothing else but 16 ounce. If you are looking to do some sparring, then I would say speak to your coach before you buy a pair of gloves, just to make sure you get the right size. But generally for females, you'll be sparring in a 12 or a 14 ounce glove, and for males you'll be sparring in a 14 or a 16 ounce glove. If you're looking for one glove for everything, for bag work and sparring, then I would say generally 12 ounce for females and 14 ounce for guys. But again, when it comes to sparring, you're definitely best checking with your coach first to make sure you get the right size. Okay, so that was our beginner's guide to buying boxing gloves. We are going to do another video where we'll go into more detail on recommendations for boxing gloves. I do want to give you a couple that I'd recommend in case you're looking for something straight away. This Ringside glove just here, the one we were using in the video before, is only 55 UK pounds. It's called a Ringside Pro Fitness glove, and this is definitely a good shout. It's made from really good quality artificial leather. It's at the top end of the beginner's glove market. You definitely can't go wrong with this one. It's available in 4 great colours and in 10 to 16 ounce. Also, if you're looking to keep the budget down slightly, the next one down, the Sting Arma Plus ones. These ones here come in a beautiful matte black colour and also in white gold. Again, these are available in 10 to 16 ounce. There's probably not much of a difference between the Ringside and the Sting ones. They do feel a little different, but they're just as good quality as each other. And if you're looking to keep the cost down a bit, then the Ringside the Pro Box base spar gloves are tremendous gloves. These are only 30 to 35 pounds depending on where you get them from, and they're really excellent gloves. We sell a ton of these to clubs looking for bulk buy, good quality gloves, but they don't want to break the bank. So these are a really good shout, and I've never had a pair of them back, so they're definitely a good shout. You can't go wrong with either of these 3 gloves. But we are going to do another video in more detail on boxing gloves that we recommend for certain budgets. I hope that's given you a bit of information on buying your first pair of boxing gloves. If you have any questions, queries, anything at all, you can either stick them in the section below. I'm always happy to help, or you can contact the shop directly. Find Seconds Out Fight Store through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or through our website. There's a contact page on there. Any questions you've got, anything at all, more than happy to help where I can. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We've got more content coming very soon. You can buy these boxing gloves and lots more on our website at seconds-out.co.uk. Thanks again for watching. Cheers.